I call this meeting of the Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The time is 6 o'clock. Priscilla, roll call.
All board members are present.
Thank you. Do we have any recognition item?
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm on the wrong line here.
Thank you, President Perkins, members of the board. We have two fine young ladies with us this evening, and their principals, who are fine people as well, to lead us in the pledges of allegiance. We have Ms. Ashley Hawk is going to introduce her student, Jasleen Stanford. They are from Wieterstein Elementary, and Miss Sarah Reed is going to introduce her young lady, Isadora Ferguson, and they're from Rose Garden Elementary. So who's going first? Okay, Miss Reed.
All right. Well, good evening, members of the board, President Perkins and Dr. Ely. I am Sarah Reed, the principal at Rose Garden Elementary, and I would like to introduce to you our student, Isadora. You can step outside there so they can see you. Isadora Ferguson. She is a second grade student at Rose Garden Elementary. She is an exemplary Rose Garden owl. She can often be found in the mornings greeting staff as well as students. She is officially our Rose Garden hugger. She gives some great hugs, and she also excels academically and embodies the traits of a graduate. Her favorite subject is reading. She's currently working her way through the Harry Potter series. She also enjoys art as well as softball. I was just talking with her dad just a few moments ago, and they are going to be headed after this to take softball pictures. So she's also joined by her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson, along with her younger sister, Eleanor. Parents, you can please stand and be recognized. Yes, so Miss Isadora Ferguson.
Okay, I am Ashley Hawk, principal at Wieterstein Elementary. Let me fix this here. I have Jasleen Stanford. She is a third grade student at Wieterstein. She is an exemplary student as well and embodies all the traits of a graduate. She's insightful, determined, hardworking, and all around phenomenal. She likes to play basketball, color, learn new things, and going outside to play. Her favorite subject is math, but she excels in all areas of instruction. She sees herself as funny, helpful, nice, and respectful, which her mom says she does the same at home as well. In a paper in class, she shared when she grows up, she wants to protest for women in the WNBA to be paid the same as men in the NBA and show that girls can do anything boys can do. Jasleen Stanford, please welcome us in starting the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm sorry, I'm going to pause. I did not recognize her parents, Kimberly Stanford and Drayvon Stanford, if you'll please. And now we can stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Principals, we're going to have those young ladies come up here, and we're going to shake their hand and give them a little certificate and take their picture. So why don't y'all come this way, this way, this way.
Well, the meeting has started off very well, and I don't mean to spoil it, but 2 years ago we were just coming back from spring break and in crisis mode, and I'd like to present how much better off we are now than we were then, and we're well on our road to recovery, but we've got a lot to do. So thank you all for being here, and thank you so much for what you do. Okay, we've got the Vice President's recitation of district vision, mission, vision, values, and priorities.
Good evening. Our motto, SCUC ISD, a district with passion and purpose. Our mission, SCUC ISD, a diverse community founded in trust and transparency, commits to empower all students to fulfill lifelong potential through inspiring learning experiences. Our vision is to inspire, innovate, and excel. Our values are leadership, character, commitment, service, and learning. Our priorities, priority 1, all graduates will be college and/or career and/or military ready. Priority 2, high-performing and engaged workforce. Priority 3, highly satisfied students, parents, and community. And priority 4 is efficient district and campus operations.
Thank you, Ed. Next, we have board recitation of district belief statements.
We believe all students have the capacity to learn and excel. We believe a safe, secure, and supportive environment is paramount to learning.
We believe in living our core values of leadership, character, commitment, service, and learning. And we believe engaging, interactive, and authentic teaching creates empowered, inspired learners prepared for our changing world.
We believe technology is a relevant tool that enhances learning in and beyond the classroom.
We believe in a professional learning community that fosters collaboration for continuous improvement. We believe transparent, clear, and timely communication among all is critical to success.
We believe the measures of success go beyond standardized testing. We believe public education is defined by the local community with limited state involvement.
Thank you, board members. Now we have the Vice President's overview of good governance indicators and board member ethics.
Okay. One of our ethics is honor and conduct. And in that, I will tell the truth. I will share my views while working for consensus. I will respect the majority decision as a decision of the board. And I will base my decisions on fact rather than supposition, opinion, or public favor. Okay, good governance self-check. I'm going to do 2 of these because I missed one last month. Number 2 is the board has a written plan in place for regular review and adoption reaffirmation of the district's mission, vision, values, and goals. Criteria for consideration. The board is regularly briefed about the status of and the administration's plans for accomplishing the current goals. Board documents from the goal-setting process include the board considered a broad range of issues and desired outcomes before limiting goals to those included in its list. All current members of the board and the superintendent have agreed in the formal adoption or readoption by the board to be guided by the board-adopted mission, vision, values, and measurable goals. Number 3, the board has a code of ethics for itself and promotes ethical behavior in the governance structure throughout the organization and interactions with workforce, vendors, and stakeholders. Criteria for consideration. The board has adopted and annually reaffirms an ethics statement or code of conduct for board members. The board receives an annual report regarding code of ethics deployment for staff members in the organization. The board has a written procedure for dealing with breaches of ethical conduct, and board member agendas and materials indicate that the code of ethics has been affirmed by all current board members on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Next, agenda item 9, recognition items. First one is recognition of student representatives. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins, members of the board. Since 1987, the Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City ISD Board of Trustees have been welcoming high school students to the dais and recognize them in board meetings. We have 3 fantastic high school students joining us this evening, and we're going to start with Emma Britt, who's coming from Steele High School. Emma is going to be introduced by her assistant principal, Trina Simmons. So, welcome, Emma.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Ely, President Perkins, and members of the board. I would like to introduce to you an outstanding young lady, Emma Britt. Emma is currently a junior attending Steele High School and is representing Steele Student Council this evening. Emma is the daughter of Elizabeth Taylor and Timothy Britt. Emma grew up in SCUC and has attended SCUC ISD for the past 12 years. Emma is currently Steele High School Student Council President and has been part of the organization since her freshman year. Emma also plays the flute in Steele's marching band and concert band. Emma has been participating in band since the 5th grade and has competed in UIL solo and ensemble every year, scoring the highest division every competition. She is a part of the band's officer team as the position of secretary for the 21-22 school year, and Emma plans to run for vice president next year in the 22-23 school year. When Emma is not at school practicing for band or helping with the student council, she can be found working at Natural Bridge Caverns, working as a tour guide. Emma absolutely loves her job. After graduation, Emma plans to attend college to study pre-med as she wants to help people. Tonight, she is represented by her mother, Elizabeth Taylor. Please stand to be recognized. And also by her student council sponsor, Courtney Matthews. Please stand and be recognized. Now, please welcome Emma Britt.
Good evening, Dr. Ely and members of the school board. My name is Emma Britt, and I am representing Steele High School Student Council. I joined Student Council my freshman year, not realizing how impactful and beneficial it would really be on my life. I joined for fun, but I quickly realized that it was an organization that I wanted to continue to be part of and eventually hold a leadership position in. Student Council is thought to just make banners and hang them around the school and spread some school spirit, but that is not all. Now, don't get me wrong, we do make our fair share of banners and we do spread a lot of school spirit, but we also plan almost every other school event, and those events that are just people think that they just happen. We coordinate events for our students at Steele. We hold a freshman orientation before the school year starts every year to introduce the incoming students to Steele by giving them tours of the campus and playing icebreaker games to help them feel more comfortable in their new environment. A couple of months into the year, we also host an event for all of our new students as well. Our biggest event of the year is homecoming. We plan, decorate, and throw the best homecoming, in my opinion, celebrating not only our football team, but the amazing student body at Steele. Student Council also organizes Kindness Week every year. We have a week where we essentially spread kindness. We have little treats here and there and help bring kindness onto our campus. We create kindness t-shirts, and we have a day we deemed Mix It Up Day, where we have inflatables, games, chalk, and music that students can come out and celebrate kindness while getting to know other people during their lunch period. We hold movie nights on the field, encouraging students to come and have a night to watch a movie. And at the end of the year, we host Senior Olympics, a day where our seniors can get into teams and have a day where they play games and have a little friendly competition as a last fun high school activity before they can graduate. All of these events do take a lot of work and creativity. We don't just stop at our students. We do coordinate events for our community as well. We host a fall festival. This is a fun event where we invite the Night Nation community out to have a fun evening filled with games, inflatables, a petting zoo, a barrel train, and so much more. This event promotes Steele High School and all of the volunteering clubs. A few weeks ago, we held a mother-son event in which we opened up our school to the community and allowed special time for the parents and kids to have a fun time with each other. This year, we provided a spaghetti dinner and had plenty of games and activities, and we had a movie running in the auditorium as well. Student Council will be hosting our annual Daddy-Daughter Dance this Friday night. The Daddy-Daughter Dance is one of our bigger community events, and all of our proceeds this year are going to a local charity called Light 316, which is like a local Make-A-Wish. This event is a community service not only for the event itself, but for the donations. In this past several years, we have donated over $50,000 to local charities. Along with these larger service events, we do host 5 blood drives a year, and we coordinate our recycling program. Student Council has helped me and impacted me in ways I would have never expected. Thanks to my amazing sponsor, Mrs. Matthews, I've been pushed out of my comfort zone in more ways than you can ever imagine. I have learned that it is okay to make mistakes, because usually one way or another we can fix them. I have learned organizational skills and how to make events run more smoothly. I am grateful for the things I have learned because they do not only help me in my student council career, but also in my band, officer team, and other aspects in my life. I found ways to agree with people I thought I would never see eye to eye with. Student council has provided me with so many opportunities for growth in both my leadership and social endeavors. I have definitely been pushed out of my shell because 3 years ago, I definitely would not have been ever able to stand in front of you today and tell you just how amazing our organization actually is. It has brought me to an amazing family and group of people who are all like-minded like me. Student Council has provided me with a group of people I can even venture to call my closest friends, who are all amazing and unique. I've gotten to grow close with so many of them and build connections. It has provided me with an amazing officer team who, without a doubt, brings so much life to our organization. It has taught me so much about myself and how to overcome obstacles in my real life as well. Student Council has helped me voice my opinions, but also be able to take a step back and listen to everyone's ideas. It has helped me as a leader realize everyone's strengths and even weaknesses and help everybody be their best selves. Student Council has taken me from a shy introvert to an outgoing leader standing here today in front of you. I can never thank the people, including my sponsor, enough for the constant impact that they have had and will continue to have on me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma. Next, we have two seniors from Samuel Clemens High School who are part of the Unified Sports Program. Coming up to introduce them is Clemens High School Assistant Principal Terry Henry, and she will introduce us to Emerson Weiler and Tegan Vale.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Ely and Board President Mr. Perkins and esteemed guests. My name is Terry Henry. I'm an assistant principal here at Clemens High School. I have the pleasure of introducing to you two of our students that take part in our unified sports at Clemens High School. The first student is Tegan Vale. He is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Vale and currently a senior at Clemens High School and an exceptional athlete. Tegan has participated and medaled in Special Olympics, swimming, bowling, basketball, and track and field. Tegan has an enormous amount of school spirit and never missed an after-school unified sports event. As a member of the Sparklers cheer team, he loves attending the football and basketball games to cheer on the Buffs. He will be transitioning after graduation to the 18-plus anchor program in the fall of 2022. Our next student is Emerson Weiler. She is a senior at Samuel Clemens High School. She is a dynamic leader as she is the captain of our soccer team here at Clemens High School. She has participated in Unified Special Olympics, partnering with students with disabilities for bowling and basketball. She has been a member of the Meet in the Middle Club since her freshman year and served as a PE partner for 1 year. Emerson is eager to help where needed and was an avid supporter of the after-school unified sports program. After graduating from Clemens High School, Emerson plans to attend Schreiner College in Kerrville to major in business and play soccer. Her sponsor is here, Miss Terry Woods. If you can stand to be recognized. And Ms. Vale is here for Tegan. And Ms. Weiler's here for Emerson. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emerson Weiler, and I'm a senior at Clemens High School. I'm a part of the Unified Sports Partnership between Special Olympics Texas and our school. It is a program that promotes social inclusion in everyday life by uniting Special Olympics athletes and their peers in the school community through sport and physical activities. I enjoy being a part of this program because it provides an opportunity to try a sport I normally would not have tried, and because I have made new friends because of it. Unified Sports is a simple way to involve anyone that wants to have fun and help make a difference for their school community. Outside of this program, I play soccer at Classics Elite. We travel around the country to compete at the highest level possible. I'm also a captain of the girls' varsity soccer team at Clemens. I was awarded the honorable mention from the 20 to 21 season. In August, I will be moving to Kerrville, Texas to continue my academic and athletic career at Schreiner University and majoring in communication studies and minoring in marketing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tegan Vale, and I'm also a senior at Clemens High School. I love unified sports. And you should join. Go Buffs!
If we could have the students come up here like we did with the younger ones, we'll shake your hand and give you a certificate, and then you can join us up here at the dais. Assistant principals, please come up as well.
Next recognition item is recognition of National School Breakfast Week, March 7th through 11th, and that is
Going to be,
introduced by Rachel Sanchez.
very good.
Good evening, Dr. Ely, President Perkins, and members of the board. National School Breakfast Week was celebrated March 7th through 11th. The school breakfast program is dedicated to the health and well-being of our nation's children. A healthy breakfast at the start of the day is a great way to ensure students are nourished and ready to learn. Each year, the Texas Department of Agriculture engages students in grades kindergarten through 12th in learning about healthy nutrition by encouraging them to use their imagination and illustrate healthy school meals incorporating TDA's provided theme. The You Art What You Eat statewide student art contest featured Addison Covington as the 2021 first place winner in the elementary breakfast category. Addison is currently a 6th grader at Schlother Intermediate. And this is her artwork on display here. And I also like to recognize her family that is sitting here also.
Yep, come on up.
Next, we have recognition of Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City Independent School District maintenance staff in honor of National Maintenance Worker Appreciation Day, March 4th, presented by J.D. Mosley.
Good evening, President Perkins, Dr. Ely, members of the board. March 4th, 2022 was National Maintenance Worker Appreciation Day. We recognize and honor our SCUCISD maintenance staff for their commitment and hard work in maintaining our district facilities year-round. Our maintenance workers include plumbers, electricians, carpenters, HVAC specialists, general maintenance workers, locksmiths, fire alarm technicians, painters, maintenance technicians, and grounds workers. Our maintenance staff work throughout the year regardless of the weather, and they're quick to respond after hours in emergency situations. We encourage everyone to take time to recognize and honor our frontline employees for their continued dedication and service to our district. We do have a few of our staff here tonight. I'd like them to stand and be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for what you do every day, 260 days a year. Thank you.
Next, we have recognition National School Social Work Week, March 6th through 12th, presented by Cassandra Gracia.
Good evening, President Perkins, Dr. Ely, and members of the board. This recognition is to focus public attention on the way our nation's social workers continue to meet people where they are and help them live to their fullest potential. For decades, the social work profession has been dedicated to improving human well-being and enhancing the basic needs of all people, especially the most vulnerable among us. School social work, in particular, is a specialized area of practice within the social work profession. School social workers bring unique knowledge and skills to the school system and student service teams. They're trained mental health professionals who can assist with mental health concerns, behavioral concerns, positive behavioral support, academic and classroom support, as well as consultation with teachers, parents, and administrators. School social workers are instrumental in furthering the missions of the schools, which is to provide a setting for teaching, learning, and for the attainment of competence and confidence. School social workers enhance a district's ability to meet its academic mission, especially where home, school, and community collaboration is the key to achieving student success. We want to thank Raquel Rodriguez, our district social worker, and all the communities and school site coordinators who are also social workers for the work they do to support our students. National School Social
to recognize contributions made by the state's free system of education. Each year, the event has grown, and the recognition has continued to serve as a meaningful way to showcase the many educational opportunities afforded to the more than 5 million students attending Texas public schools. Now more than ever, we want to be sure to celebrate the incredible efforts of our public schools to prepare our students for their futures. SCUC-ISD is proud to offer a wide range of opportunities for our students to be successful while in our schools, as well as once they graduate. From clubs and student organizations to advanced coursework and the career and technical classes, education classes that we offer, SCUC-ISD is unmatched in what we can provide to the students in our area. As such, we appreciate the opportunity just before spring break to celebrate our public schools, our incredible staff, and the families and students who call SCUC-ISD their own. Thank you.
Next, we have recognition of Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City ISD Purchasing and Supply employees in honor of National Purchasing Month, presented by Jesse Luna.
Good evening, President Perkins, Dr. Ely, members of the board, and guests. I'm sure that you are just as shocked and awed that there is a purchasing month as I am, but I'm grateful for it. So March is National Purchasing Month, and we would like to take this time to celebrate and recognize the staff of the Purchasing and Supply Department. These individuals work in the background with great dedication to their roles to aid departments and campuses to reach their objectives. These individuals include professional and clerical staff who work on solicitations, contracts, purchase orders for the district, as well as warehouse staff, print shop, and mail courier staff provide goods and services to the districts to complete the operations. Again, it's not something that has normally come up, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to recognize this staff. Thank you.
Next, we have Curriculum Celebration Awareness Recognitions presented by Serena Georges-Penny and Cassandra Allen.
It's just Cassandra.
Oh.
No Serena. She's over there if you want to look at her, though. Good evening, Board President Perkins, Dr. Ely, and members of the board. It's my pleasure tonight to tell you that I learned so much that how many celebrations there are in March. But not to be forgotten is Women's History Month. This March, the district joins the nation in commemorating and encouraging the study, observance, and celebration of the vital role of women in American history. Women's History Month has been observed annually in the month of March in the United States since 1987. The actual celebration of Women's History Month grew out of a week-long celebration of women's contributions to culture, history, and society organized by the School District of Sonoma, California in 1978. A few years later, the idea caught on within communities, school districts, and organizations across the country, and in 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week, but we know that a week's not enough, so the U.S. Congress followed suit the next year, passing a resolution establishing a national celebration. 6 years later, the National Women's History Project successfully petitioned Congress to expand the event to the entire month of March. Yay, women.
Now we're on to agenda item 10, public comments. There are no public comments. Thank you. And then we go on to our superintendent's update. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins, members of the board. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening and kind of update the board and the community on some of the goings-on in SCUC-ISD. Probably the biggest thing that is going on for us this spring is our work on our strategic plan for our next 4 years. We have partnered with a group called Engage to Learn, who are facilitating this work, and we have begun in earnest over 3 weeks ago with that process. The first phase of the strategic plan is the engage and collaborate phase, and that's where we really step out and talk to people in our community and get feedback on how we're doing as a school district, the hopes and dreams they have for their students who attend here, and then the product that we want to produce when students walk across the stage at graduation from SCUC schools. We began on February the 23rd with a community survey that closed on March the 8th. We are proud to report that we had 1,812 responses from people all across the community, students, parents, community members, teachers, staff, and otherwise. The second day that the community survey was open was February the 24th. It was a particularly dreary and cold day in February, and we had a community summit at Marion Dalford Learning Center that evening. 50 brave souls braved the weather that evening and came out, and we discussed many of the things, the 9 questions that are on the survey, and we had table talk and sharing out. It was a good evening for those folks to really roll up their sleeves and take a hard look at the district. We had the next item we had was focus groups, and that was on March 8th, the Thursday before spring break. Is that right? Yes, Tuesday. Thank you. Tuesday before spring break. We had focus groups in this room. We had groups of probably 8 to 10 individuals representing different groups. We started off the morning with community and business leaders. We had students. We had a group of students. We had a group of teachers. We had a group of principals. We had a group of parents come in and do kind of the same process. Look over the survey, have group talk about some of the things in there, and then each of them filled out the survey on their own. And so what is going from this point forward is engaged learners are going to take that information, they're going to aggregate it, then disaggregate it by respondent group. They're going to share that information with us very shortly. That information will be shared initially with the group that we'll talk about here in a second, which is our design team. We will be getting information out to the board and to the community this evening. As a matter of fact, I appreciate Deanna Jackson for her work in doing our very first community update that's going out tonight. It will be emailed to every staff member, emailed to every parent. It's also going out on our district news and webpage, and it'll be on social media as well. So you get a lot more information than even you're getting here about what's going on with that. The next phase is the design phase, and that begins this week. It's Thursday and Friday of this week. And we will welcome the 40-member design team, again, made up of parents, teachers, campus leaders, community leaders, and students. They will be taking the feedback from the community survey, and they will be working to develop the district's vision, mission, and beliefs. Out of that is going to come some shared community beliefs about learning, a call to action, goals and strategies, and then ultimately learner profiles and outcomes. We'll come back again about a month on April 27th and 28th. That same 40-member design team will come back together, and they will be in the create portion, and they'll be developing and sequencing specific results that measure the goals that we talked about a little earlier. And then the teams will research and develop action ideas for each goal. District leadership will come after that, and we'll empanel work groups to take that information, develop specific metrics that measure those goals that have been identified by the design team, and then we'll be aligning our district, our campus, and our departmental improvement planning processes to meet those goals. And then finally, the 5th day is going to be on May the 10th, and we will be developing our year 1 action plans with specific measurable results that we want to see in year 1. And we'll be designing our own school performance framework to help us do that. So we're very excited about that. It's just an overview of where we are. As I said, big week. We'll have that information out to the community on our website here shortly, and then look forward to the work the design team will do, taking the information, distilling the information they're getting from the community, and using that information to drive the mission, vision, values, and belief statements that will be created. Second big thing that's going on is we're preparing for the 22-23 school year, and registration is open for continuing students. It opened yesterday, and I will say, if you're listening and you've had a little bit of issues getting in, bear with us. We're still working with the sender. We still have some workarounds on that, but that has opened for continuing students. New student registration will open up April the 11th, so a little earlier this year. We're excited to open that up again about the middle of next month. In a change this year, and make sure I get the dates right, we will not be closing off registration for the entire summer. We'll be closing off for 2 weeks, all right, instead of like 6 or 7 weeks like we have done in the past. So we're excited about, ma'am? So you will not be able to register your child the week of the 4th of July or the next week, but you can register your child anytime before then or after then. We encourage you to register early. Register early, register often. So we're excited about that. Soccer playoffs are happening. We've had great success. Yes, we have a soccer player here. Thank you, Emerson. Congratulations, and we look forward to your work this week. In fact, the Steele girls finished 3rd in district. Clemens girls finished 4th. Emerson is here. She's a captain for Clemens. They'll be playing Clark High School at 7 o'clock on Friday at Fair Stadium. The Steele girls will be playing Reagan High School on Thursday at 5:30, and they'll be at Comalander Stadium in Northeast ISD. Now, the Steele boys and Clemens boys are in the playoffs as well. Steele finished 3rd. Clemens finished tied for 1st, but they'll be the 2nd seed by virtue of head-to-head with Smithson Valley. They don't know who they're playing yet until tonight's match between San Antonio Lee and Johnson is completed, and then we will know who Clemens boys and Steele boys will play. But we do know that the Clemens boys will be here at Linhoff Stadium on Friday evening at a time to be determined, and Steele will play on the road on Thursday or Friday, depending on who they draw. So we're excited for all of our soccer players, including the one joining us up here this evening, and look forward to great things in the playoffs, and congratulations on a great season. Not only are great things going on in athletics, but in fine arts as well. We celebrated Mr. Light Fine Arts Month here. Just want to recognize Steele, Byron Steele High School, and their one-act play. They did very well in zone. They, in fact, scored high enough to move on to district. District was held earlier this week, yesterday. It was held. And Steele was nearly missed out moving on. They were named an alternate out of district. So if somebody is unable to fulfill that, they would move on. So congratulations to Steele. Last thing I just wanted to mention to the board is just a reminder that budget season is going to start in earnest very soon. We'll have our first budget workshop the first Tuesday in April. That'll be Tuesday, April the 5th. So, Mr. Perkins, that ends my report.
Thank you, Dr. Ely. Next is item 12, correspondence.
No, we still have another.
Oh.
We still have Board Priority 4, Mr. Moy. So members of the board and community, we're welcoming our Chief Financial Officer, Brian Moy. He's going to share this month's formative review of District Priority 4 and Board Priority Goal 4.1. Mr. Moy.
President Perkins, members of the board, Dr. Ely, it is my pleasure to be here and to be in front of you for the first time. As Dr. Ely stated, I'm going to go through giving you an update on Priority 4. Priority 4 says that we are going to embrace and enhance financial accountability and good stewardship of community resources in order to provide maximum allocation of resources for direct instructional purposes. And Goal 4.1 specifically says that the district will score 90 or above on Schools First by June 22, and that's on a 100-point scale. First stands for the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. Just like schools and districts get a through F rating on accountability, we also do in finance, and that is the Schools First system. The primary goal of Schools First is to achieve quality performance in the management of resources, and that is made more difficult due to how complex school finance has become. So the possible ratings are superior or A, above standard, B, meet standard, C, or substandard achievement, F. For this most recent year, Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City ISD received an above standard or B rating from TEA. We achieved 88 out of the possible 100 points. So ratings for 21-22 that come out this upcoming summer will be based on financial data from our 2020-2021 year, and this will be brought to you in a formal hearing next November. Now, all of this went over in the November board meeting, so I'm not going to go through and reiterate all those points, but I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. So you can see here, the goal was to be at 90 or above, and the district had achieved that until this year, where we slipped 2 points below at 88. So now there are 20 different areas where school districts are rated in the first indicators, everything from did you get a clean audit opinion, how much did you have in cash on hand, what was the level of quality of your PEMS data, what is your administrative cost ratio, that is how much are you spending in instruction versus administration, and even the accuracy of pupil projections, which in the time of COVID is a little bit tough. What has brought us below the 90 was the rating for long-term solvency, and I'll get to that in just a minute. We got 2 points out of 10. Basically what this indicator does is it takes your long-term liabilities, i.e. your bonds, and divides it by your total assets of all your funds across the district. So that ended up giving us a ratio of, you see there, 9.565. You can't see the scale down at the bottom, but obviously 9.565 fell between a 0.9 and a 1, so that gave us 2 points. Now, school districts with 5-year enrollment growth of 7% or greater automatically get all 10 points. Well, our enrollment growth has 5-year enrollment growth had shrunk to 5.56%. We had, in previous years, gotten the full 10 points on this indicator simply by being fast growth. And this indicator will only continue to get better. We will get up again in scoring because as we are not issuing debt but are paying down debt, the long-term liability number goes down. Hopefully the asset number stays pretty consistent, and then therefore the ratio will be better. Any implication that we don't have long-term solvency or resources to make the payments on that long-term debt, just know that those aren't true. This is TEA's attempt at taking a simple financial measure that's applied to, for-profit businesses and trying to apply it to a governmental entity. And it's based on all funds. So it combines how much cash do you have in general fund, capital projects, this, that, and say how much of that can be used to pay debt. Well, legally, none of it can be. We are not in any risk of not making our debt payments. We have an unlimited tax rate on INS to make the debt payments, and it's a pay-as-you-go system. We don't accumulate hundreds of millions of dollars in our debt service fund to eventually pay off. We know what comes due one year, we collect that much in taxes, we make the payments, we move on to the next year. And that's all I have on this indicator, unless there are questions.
Any questions? You're off the hook. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
His first time, no questions.
That was his first time?
Yeah.
Good job.
I can ask one just to throw it out there. I think the point was well made. I just want to make the point that even though we didn't get all 10 points, it's mostly because we're not a fast-growing school district anymore, and that may change in the future. But as far as solvency is concerned, Mr. Moore made the point. I want to reiterate that we are absolutely solvent. We have more than enough money coming in to pay our debts, and for the public, this is, like he said, this is an arbitrary method of trying to figure out what our solvency is, and just so the public understands, we are absolutely solvent. We can pay our bills and provide the best education possible. So for the public, not to worry, and your children are in good hands.
All right, I want to take this opportunity to invite our students who are up here to go do homework or something like that. If you need to, you're welcome to stay, but it might get a little dry. Okay, while we're getting ready for item number, where are we, number 12? No, we did 12. I did that out of turn. Item 13, report on board advocacy. I want to take the time to reiterate to everyone that some of us have, and I'm probably the worst abuser of this, have taken it from a board advocacy point to a attended things point, and I want to bring us back to the point. The reason we brought this up is to show where we have the opportunity to advocate for the district and for our students, and keep that in mind when we're going through highlighting the areas where we've got an opportunity to advocate when it's your turn. And with no more lead-in than that, Amy?
I was able to attend the Celebrate the Arts Orchestra Festival and Choir Festival, which was just wonderful. I loved attending all the fine arts stuff in the district when they have it on, and Mr. Light and his department do a great job. I'm glad. I think this was the first time in how many years that they were able to have it? 3 years. So I know the students as well as the parents really enjoy having it back. And I look forward to the events that are coming in April that they have on the calendar. I was able to attend the Steel Girls Basketball Regional Finals game, which was really exciting, even though it didn't go our way, but the girls did great and had a wonderful season, and they should celebrate that. I attended the Corbett and Dobie girls 7th and 8th grade soccer games, which was very exciting because they were competing for undefeated districts and district champions, and I believe Dobie 8th graders won, the girls won their game, and then the Corbett 7th grade girls won, and so it was just exciting to see all the students and parents. We were invited to the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard at Steele, which was an amazing thing. I thank Mr. Colonel Mosley for inviting us to that. I attended the Dobie and Corbett UIL orchestra competitions, and those students did a great job as well. I was able to be a guest reader for ALE Storytime at Clemens, and I want to thank Miss Lindsay for having me. That was a wonderful time. I enjoyed the students, and I look forward to going back to do that. And then I also attended the Clemens and Steele UIL orchestra competitions and really enjoyed that. And it was great that it was local, so I could just go down the road and attend it and not have to travel far, so it was really great.
Awesome. Well, they told me about all the work that we would have to do as a school board trustee, but they didn't tell us about the fun part. Fun part is advocating and showing students that you're there for them and that you support them. It's similar to Amy. I attended the February 16th pre-UIL competition for orchestras in schools at Clemens, and the students and instructors were awesome. I did have an instructor say that, not complaining, but it's kind of difficult, whereas we always look at the academics to see what concepts or learning parts are missing. For the liberal arts, there's not too much emphasis on doing that other than helping students to catch up because they haven't been together, performing together. So they're doing an excellent job. And then February 24th was the strategic planning, and it was very interesting. The students expressed that they learned best through collaboration and through trial and error, and that often they're not allowed to participate in the trial and error because that's bad grades. So they were trying to figure out how we could do that. And they were talking about streamlining AP classes and IB classes and dual credit, which is a lot to take in. Then my mentor, Mr. Westbrook, and I met with City Councilwoman Jill Whitaker to establish a working relationship and good governance to help the district in whatever way we can, working together. And the girls' basketball, I attended at NISD where they won. That was so much fun. And then the Air Force, it was an awesome thing, the Honor Guard, Precision Honor Guard. And I got to have my picture taken with the only female member of the Honor Guard who was there. And I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget the name of the gun. But it was an 11-pound M1 Garand rifle with fixed bayonet. So, and thanks to, as you said, Colonel Mosley and Sharita Johnson for arranging that. Then the 8th, there was UIL orchestra performances of Dobie and Corbett, and then the UIL theater performances, and I think it's great that students see us there. Hopefully, we were there to encourage them and to do a good job. And then on the 9th, I met with Mr. Westbrook, and I met with Allison Hayward again to establish working relationships and governance. And then I attended the Schertz Chamber of Commerce on March the 15th, where Dr. Ely presented the state of education, did an excellent job there. And there was also a representative of Northeast Lakeview College who highlighted how we can all work together. Thank you.
I also attended the first strategic planning meeting with our organization. Like Ms. Evans said, it was a good first start, and we'll see where it goes from here. Obviously, Thursday and Friday, we continue to have our next meeting, so looking forward to that. I know Amy's going to be there, so we're part of that organization, looking forward to see how we go. That's it.
Back in February, several of us went to the to TASB's grassroots meeting at the region, and at the grassroots, what we came up with were priorities that we will, as trustees, send forward and come up with an advocacy or a priorities list of advocacy agenda items at the state level. But the three that I guess that were that we came up with to send forward were staff recruitment and retention, sustained funding for school finance, and mental health resources for students and staff. And we sent those forward, and what will happen is the other regions throughout the state will put theirs together, and then we will come up with one, or probably 3 or 4 or 5 points that school board trustees will advocate for at the state level at a later time.
In the interest of brevity, I have nothing to report for this month.
Hey, good evening. So I'll try to use my time to sort of summarize. I think what's required is whenever I go to the school board conferences to sort of give a summary. So I went to a governance camp in Galveston, March 2nd through 5th. I attended March 3rd and 4th. I earned 9 credit hours by attending sessions covering visionary teams, district culture, several student-centered presentations about leadership, engagement, innovation, and overall student experiences during COVID. Notable was a presentation by Leander's ISD Superintendent Student Advisory Council. An initial PDSA process to increase student empowerment turned into an ongoing, iterative, student-driven effort to improve the Leander Independent School District student experience. They tackled issues such as mental health, student-teacher relationships through a root cause analysis and option assessments, and then a risk analysis. And then they presented to the board at a district meeting. In a session that was moderated by Mary Jane Hetrick from Dripping Springs, entitled Public Education is Not Supposed to be Political, I was a panelist along with Fred Campos from HEB, Marlene Bullard from Tornillo, Paul Mostello from Tolosa Midway, And we discussed three main topics, which were civics education, social and emotional learning, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, to show that we could all discuss these subjects in a civil way. March 10th through 12th, there was the Texas Caucus of Black School Board meeting that I attended up in Georgetown. Earned about 8 to 9 credit units by CEs by attending sessions covering communication, community involvement, and methods to manage polarity versus changing minds. Then we discussed mental health. There was a presentation on ESSER funds, and then educational equity. Another notable presentation on equity was made by Dr. Roger Cleveland, a director of faculty diversity and development from Eastern Kentucky University, who de-emphasized race and gender and focused on the needs of individual students. I did question, however, how that differed than what we did on an everyday basis by meeting the needs of students every day, but I received a sort of a silence there, and I didn't want to push the envelope and get in trouble there. So also, I recognize that there is an educational equity and inclusion for students, and I think there was a general consensus for educational equity and inclusion from a student standpoint. And then there is an organizational sort of perspective of DEI, and that is sort of where the two roads sort of diverge, and there's sort of some consternation there. But to summarize, they said establish a shared vocabulary, identify individuals with shared values, cultivate opportunities for dialogue, and then focus on data and data disaggregation. Presentations and resource materials will be given to, I guess, Priscilla shortly, or she can distribute it to the rest of the board members.
Thank you, each of you, for that summary. I, too, got to go to the grassroots presentation, and Letitia did a great summary of that. Tri-County Chamber and the Chamber luncheons are both good. The Chamber was especially good because Dr. Ely was presenting, and I got to watch and didn't have to be up at the podium. One thing that I can't remember if we talked about it last time or if it was after that, but the elected officials opportunity was a great opportunity to meet with the city leadership in the local area and also county, and it was a good talk. We talked about how important it was to meet and do it again. We also talked about it's a shame we can't get everybody there, but they've got the same problems that we do about bringing too many city council members and creating a quorum. So we will have to work around that, but we will try to meet more often than once a year. And I think that's all I have. Next, we're on to item number 14, new business, a report on discussion items, board meeting calendar for the 2022-2023 school year. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins, members of the board. You should have in your materials a draft board meeting calendar for next school year. If anybody needs a copy, please let me know. I have a hard copy up here. Does anybody need one? Okay, great. As we have done in the past, we will traditionally meet for our regular board meeting on the third Tuesday of the month. There are some notable exceptions of when we will not be on the third Tuesday. I will point you to those. They are in the month of, let's see, December. Thank you. Missed it there. We're meeting the second Tuesday because the third one would be during the week, one of the 2 weeks of the winter break. And then July, we are going to do what we traditionally do, which is move the regular board meeting back a week to the fourth Tuesday and continue to have the called board meeting the week before that on the 18th. The green that you'll see on there are the called board meetings, the ones we know that we need to have. August the 25th to adopt the budget and set the tax rate. February the 7th for superintendent, final summative evaluation, and July 18th for formative evaluation. The yellow ones you see are holding the first Tuesday of the month available in case we need to have another called board meeting for that particular month. I would like to point out in October that the first Tuesday of the month in October has been National Night Out in our area, and I guess a couple of the most recent years we missed that because we were in we were in called meetings this last year in '21. We had a team of 8 back in '19. You guys had a superintendent search one. So we will be cognizant of that. That date, if we have to do a called meeting in October, because we want to certainly join our community partners in celebrating National Night Out. So love to answer any questions. This is here for your review. We do anticipate bringing this back to you next month for approval. Any questions?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to point out that this was a while back. I think it was 2018 when I first came on. There was a discussion on some of these Tuesday meetings if we needed to possibly holding the first Thursday instead of the first Tuesday. And I'm only thinking of October as the example in the event we need to do it and reschedule. I don't know what the thoughts are as if we need to. Should it be the following Tuesday or should it be a Thursday? And I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But we did have that discussion several years ago. And I think we actually moved a couple of meetings to a Thursday.
We have had meetings on a number of different days. We've had them on Mondays and on Wednesdays as well. So it really does, when we have to do those called meetings, we try to accommodate the board member schedules. And what we're asking you to do is try to hold that out in case we should need it that month. So we will have this opportunity while I'm talking about it this June. We have to do, our 2 years are up for ISO training, so we will be doing that. Again, a 2 to 3 hour training that we have on that. And then we'll have a board training on the strategic plan that'll be coming up in June as well. So we'll have some opportunities to find some dates and perhaps some days other than Tuesdays.
Go ahead.
I was just going to make a thank you to Robert. I was wondering how many arms he had to twist to get the TASB convention here in San Antonio this year. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Which,
The TASB convention is going to be here in San Antonio on September.
oh, it's that one. No, I didn't twist arms. It was just the, yeah, it was, it's Austin. San Antonio is a much better city, but no, it was good.
I'll agree with that. It cuts down the travel time, and it's not going to cost the district near as much for us to go to the convention this year, so that's always a good thing.
No, it was a team effort from TASB, but
Okay.
thank you for the,
I just want to thank the TASB
I hate taking
board.
credit for something I didn't do, but,
I just want to thank the TASB board for doing that for us.
yes, thanks.
Okay, next we have discussion resolutions authorizing the use of district transportation for project graduation 2022. Ernie Reynolds.
Good evening, President Perkins, members of the board, Dr. Ely. I just come to you with a discussion item regarding the authorization of district transportation to and from project graduation 2022 for Clemens High School and Steele High School. I'll come back to the board in April for approval. But high school graduates attending project graduation are no longer students, and providing opportunities through the use of school district buses would be considered a gift to public funds and would be prohibited unless the transportation meets 3 different criteria. An expenditure of the school district's resources is not a gift if the primary purpose is to accomplish a public service appropriate to the school district, not to benefit private parties. If the school district maintains inadequate controls to ensure the public purpose is accomplished and to protect the public's investment. And then the third, that the school district receives an adequate benefit. So if you're curious, planned now for Clemens High School project graduation would be Friday, May 27th. We'll start at 11:30 p.m., finish up at 5 a.m. at Santikos there in Cibolo on I-35. And then Steele High School has a planned project graduation on Saturday the 28th that evening until 5 a.m. at the Shady Oaks Ranch here in Schertz.
I was just going to say, in years past we have done this, and I think it's a good thing for us to do. It does provide our students, our graduated students, a safe environment to be in that night, and there's more than a few stories over the years of not so great things happening to graduating seniors, so I think the fact that we do this, it does definitely provide all 3 of those primary goals, and so this is definitely not a gift of public funds. There is definitely a benefit to our students and the communities as a whole, so I think it's really a good idea that we do this, and we've voted for this in the past, and I can't imagine we would not do this, so I just wanted to let everybody know that it is a good thing that we do, and it's something we need to do for our students.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Thank you. All right, next we have discussion professional staff development minutes waiver for 2022-2023, presented by Serena Georges-Penny.
Good evening. Texas Education Agency allows districts to file a staff development waiver for up to 2,100 total waiver minutes, and that's so that we can provide professional development during the school year for our instructional staff. Each year, the waiver expires, and so we have to bring the waiver back to the board every single year so that we can have the professional development minutes needed in our calendar for the following year. So this board meeting, we're bringing to you the professional development minute waiver for 2022-23 for next school year as a discussion item, and we're going to bring it back to you next month in April for an action item.
Any discussion?
So what's the minimum requirement for professional development?
There's no minimum requirement. There's a maximum number of minutes that you're allowed to provide professional development, so that's 2,100 minutes. So you're allowed to use 2,100 minutes of your school calendar where there's not instruction taking place that day for our students, but there is for our teachers.
All right. How do you know professional development? This is just, I don't even know, this may be sort of sidetracking. So we're asking for a waiver.
So in our calendar, we build in opportunities for our teachers to have professional development. So for example, during the first few, during the months of next school year, we have early release days designated, about 2 early release days each month. And so those early release days are considered to be professional development time. And so we've designated those early release days to either be district professional development time or campus professional development time. And on those days, our campuses provide us with what they're going to cover as far as professional development for our teachers.
How do we know it's working?
That's a very good question. So we do have a system called KickUp. KickUp is our professional learning management system. And so in that system, our teachers take surveys every time they attend a professional learning session. They provide us with a survey. Once they take the survey gives us results as far as what the learning was like for the teacher, what the likelihood of implementation in the classroom is going to be for the teacher, and then it provides us with feedback on what we need to do to enhance the professional development moving forward.
Thank you.
Who provides the instructional material?
For the professional development, so that varies. It depends on the facilitator. And so it could come from the district curriculum department, so it could be our content coordinators. If it's special education, it's going to come from our special education department. So it varies depending on what the professional development is. For some of our campus-based professional development, our principals may contract with Region 20, or they may contract with an outside source who would provide the materials. And of course, when that's being done, our campuses also make sure that that's aligned to their campus improvement plan, and that which is also aligned to the district improvement plan. So it all depends on who's delivering the professional development.
But we're in control of that, right?
We are, based on our campus improvement plans and our district improvement plans, yes.
And so that's about 35 hours per teacher? 2,100 minutes?
You're asking me to do math on a Tuesday night.
20 years in Air Force budget, we were told not to do public math.
I got to break out my calculator, y'all.
I have my calculator.
Good. Okay, good. Good.
I'll admit it.
It's 35. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
When you mentioned we, who is we?
We, as in,
The question he just asked, we're in control of that.
so it depends, right? It depends on the professional development. So at the campus level, it's going to be your administrators, right, who are in control of what's happening at the campus level as far as professional development. They do consult with myself and Kelly Kovacs, and of course, Veronica and Ernie as well when they're asking for professional development time for their campuses. From the district perspective, district professional development also depends on who's delivering that professional development. So if it's a special education professional development, of course, that's going to go through our directors of special education, our assistant directors, and our director. If it's content-based, then of course, that's going to come through me as far as what that professional development is going to look like and the way it's going to be delivered on campus. So it all depends on who's delivering the professional development.
Yes, ma'am. No, thank you. I just wanted to know who had oversight. I got just who had oversight, and you explained who had oversight over the whole process.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have discussion of Texas Association of School Boards Risk Management Funds Interlocal Participation Agreement, presented by Linda Cannon and Brian Moy.
Yes, good evening, President Perkins, Dr. Ely, and members of the board. We are needing to re-sign the interlocal participation agreement with the TASB Risk Management Fund. They have updated the agreement that we currently have in place, and so it will need to be board approved again and be signed. We need to have this agreement if we're in any part of the lines of insurances that they provide, and we currently are using them for our workers' compensation program. So this is just a discussion item tonight, and we'll bring it back to the board next month for approval.
What got changed? What was the change? Do you remember? I remember reading this last time, and I'm like,
the changes have been provided in your board book with the attachment with the agreement. There's kind of a Q&A back there, and it also on page 3 of that Q&A tells you the specific changes that they updated.
I missed that. I'll go through it. Looks like mostly dates and stuff like that, and contact information. Yeah.
Will rates increase?
Okay.
No, we have not been notified that rates would increase.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Next, we have discussion, board considerations and consensus on discussion items eligible for action under consent agenda. Does anybody have anything that they want addressed separately next month?
So we're good with board calendar being on consent, is that correct? The resolution for project graduation on consent?
Yep.
Staff development minutes waiver? And TASB management fund interlocal participation. Serena, that'll be coming back next month, April. Linda in April as well, and Ernie in April as well. Okay, thank you.
Anything from last month?
We have consent.
No, okay. Oh, we did this. Now we're on, all right, now we're on consent items.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda items A through E as presented.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Now we're on to item 14, other action items. Request for board action designation of district investment officer for public investment pools and district depository. Did I say that right? Brian Moy.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Before I am allowed to do any work with any of the investment pools that we have funds in, I need to be designated as one of the 3 investment officers for the district.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Trustees add Brian Moy, Chief Financial Officer, as a District Investment Officer and as authorized representative with full power and authority to deposit money to and withdraw money from the district's depository and public funds investment pools.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. No more excuses. All right. I'm having trouble keeping up with where we are. Next, we're at request for board action approval of solicitation for security vestibules, Rfcsp number 22-013C, presented by Jesse Luna and J.D. Mosley.
Yes, good evening. So we have one proposal for your approval tonight. It is Rfcsp 22013 for security vestibules. Just as a reminder, this project provides improvements to the existing security vestibules at Byron Steele High School, Allison Steele High School, Dobie Junior High, and the Malish Administration Building. Modifications will provide a barrier between visitors and staff, increasing security at the facilities. We received one proposal on March 3rd, 2022. The selection committee reviewed the proposal from the contractor based on their relevant experience, project management ability, past performance, subcontractors and suppliers, and price. Based on that review, the committee recommends awarding the proposal from Spa Glass as presented as the best value for the district.
I move the Board of Trustees approve the proposal as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just got one question. What's our timeline that we think we're going to be able to get these completed?
So we would hope to start as soon as we could, and then finish before school starts. So it's a summer project as it stands tonight. Right now, we're seeing materials will support that as of today. So we're hopeful that this will be something we can finish before we start up next school year.
Okay. That's kind of what I figured. It was going to be a summer project. I just wanted to get that out there. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Now we're on to request for board action, approval of update to strategic planning committee membership presented by Kelly Kovacs.
Yes, good evening. As you all remember, last month we brought to you the Strategic Plan Committee membership, which you all approved. And at that time, we had 2 parent slots open that we had not yet filled. And so tonight, we want to bring to you those 2 parents who will fill those positions. And also, since we met last time, we had a student who just felt she could not miss 4 days of class to her credit. She said, please excuse my inability to be a part of that. And then we also had one of our community members who had to bow out as well. So the list that you all have in front of you is that updated list. We still do have 8 students and 8 community members as Engaged to Learn recommends on our committee, despite those 2 who had to drop. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I move the Board of Trustees approve the updated Strategic Planning Committee members as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you for all the work you put into this strategic plan, and it's only begun to, it's not even begun.
We're looking forward to it.
Mr. President, administration would like to pull item 14C4, approval of instructional materials under Proclamation 2022. And with more information on that is Mrs. Kovacs.
Yes, so we were planning to bring to you tonight the health textbook and the PE materials for approval for this Proclamation 2022. However, the health textbook that was reviewed by the State Board of Education, the updates have not been finalized, and so we do not want to bring to you an incomplete recommendation when we haven't had a chance to review the final copy. So we hope to bring that to you in April. It may be a little later than that, before the state board approves that final textbook for that. In addition, with Mr. Lenhoff, I'm not here tonight. He's out ill. If you had questions about the PE adoptions, he's not here to be able to answer those. So we decided to just push this to next month.
Does that give us enough time with the books if we need to order them and get them in and send them out and everything like that?
We did
Process.
speak quite a bit with Kelly Mosley about that today, and she feels that we should be okay. Even if we have to delay, we'll be able to get the electronic version of the books to the teachers so that they'll be able to start the year and be able to print materials from that, even if we don't have all of the paper copies on time.
Okay, good.
I was wondering on that issue, or on this topic, is there anything that parents could access when units begin to see the scope and sequence of the activities and that type of thing? Because I've been observing other districts and reading about it, and parents are very strong-minded about being able to have transparency. In other words, the new textbooks they're reading may have activities at the end of units or classes that they don't want their students, their children, to participate in. So I was just wondering, when they are rolled out, is there any way do instructors say this is the unit and this is what's going to be in that unit and these are the activities, or somewhere they could go to link? Because when I reviewed the textbooks, I went to the TEA to see, and you can look at all the events. Do you understand what, if I'm making myself understandable? But I just feel like with, I just feel like with the controversies that are happening around the country, that the more transparency we can offer to parents, the better it will be for everyone involved.
Mr. President, respectful, we pulled this item for discussion this evening and intend to bring it back in a subsequent month. Ms. Evans would love to get that information, exactly what you're looking for, and bring that back when we have that as a discussion item.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Now I'm going to adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.072, authorization to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. If deliberation is in an open meeting, would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person. And/or 551.074, authorization to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. The time is 7:26.